This is CBS News, Texas.
The chair moves that the committee adopt the articles of impeachment against Warren Kenneth Paxton, Attorney General of the state of Texas, as embodied.
A stunning move in Austin. A committee earlier this afternoon recommending the impeachment of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Plus, the longest sentence yet for anyone involved in the January 6, 2021 attack at the U.S. Capitol. How long Oath Keeper founder and North Texan Stewart Rhodes will spend in prison. But here at 6 o'clock, we start with that breaking news Doug just mentioned from a House committee in Austin. In the last 90 minutes, that committee voted to recommend impeachment articles be brought against Attorney General Ken Paxton.
And the vote, by the way, was recorded on camera. Here's the moment it played out.
The chair moves that the committee adopt the articles of impeachment against Warren Kenneth Paxton, Attorney General of the state of Texas, as embodied in the draft resolution, and direct the chair to file that resolution with the chief clerk of the House. The clerk will call the roll.
Chair Murr?
Aye.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Representative Guerin?
Yes.
Representative Longoria?
Yes.
Representative Spiller?
Aye.
There being 5 ayes, 0 nays, 0 present not voting, the motion prevails.
Mr. Paxton has come under increasing scrutiny in recent days. Earlier this week, the very same House committee laid out allegations of wrongdoing by Paxton while in office as Attorney General.
CBS News Texas political reporter Jack Fink has been following the allegations against Paxton all week. He's live in Dallas to explain, Jack, how we got here and what we can expect to happen next. I think that's what everyone's thinking about right now.
Well, Nicole and Doug, I just got off the phone with a source who told me that at least 10 or 11 articles of impeachment are being recommended by the House General Investigating Committee against Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. And so now everybody is wondering, when is the House going to be voting on this? I checked with various House members. One said potentially Saturday, but really everything is up in the air right now. They don't know. The next thing I asked was, are there the votes needed to impeach the Attorney General? And again, people still don't know. 100 votes are needed. All of this got started 2 days ago when Attorney General Ken Paxton accused the House Speaker Dade Phelan of being drunk on the House floor this past weekend. Now, the other thing that we can tell you is that after that happened, the Texas House General Investigating Committee announced it had been investigating Paxton since March, and a team of experienced prosecutors and investigators hired by the committee laid out their findings against Paxton. They said they found evidence that he committed abuse of official capacity, retaliation, and dereliction of duty relating to his alleged actions as the Attorney General on behalf of a campaign donor. What sparked all this was a request by Paxton for taxpayers to foot the bill for settling a whistleblower case filed against his office for $3.3 million. The whistleblowers were 4 of his former top staffers who Paxton fired after they went to the FBI 2.5 years ago for making allegations of bribery against him. Paxton has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, and just before the committee voted this afternoon to recommend those articles of impeachment against him, his chief of litigation went to that committee and demanded that they allow him to provide their side of the story. Obviously, that didn't happen. Paxton tweeted this afternoon, quote, "Overturning elections begins behind closed doors," and he has criticized the investigators for being partisan Democrats.
Jack, I want to ask you here, as we watch this process, what happens if the House actually were to impeach Paxton? Like you said, 100 votes are needed. There's a trial that has to play out. But what happens if this actually happens?
Okay, so I have a copy of the Texas Constitution here, and I checked, and the Constitution says that if the House were to impeach Paxton, he is suspended of his duties immediately, and then the Senate would have to have a trial of him where 2/3 would have to vote to remove him. Keep in mind, one of those senators is the Attorney General's wife, Senator Angela Paxton of McKinney. Now, in the interim, before a trial in the Senate, Governor Greg Abbott could decide to put in an interim Attorney General. So there's still a lot of moving parts to this. We'll see how this shakes out. First thing we got to find out is, when will the vote be? We're waiting to find out.
Yes, we are, Jack. Thank you so much. And to that point, Jack is heading down to Austin for a few days to be at the Capitol for you tonight. You're going to get caught up on everything politics in Texas. You can do that with Jack Fink's Eye on Politics special. It streams for you every Thursday night at 7. Watch through CBSTexas.com, our CBS News app, and Pluto TV.
18 years in federal prison for a crime that's rarely prosecuted. Oath Keepers founder and North Texan Stuart Rhodes learned his prison sentence today. And as our Andrea Lucia reports, it's the longest sentence handed down yet for the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
In a courtroom speech, Stuart Rhodes proclaimed himself a political prisoner and, rather than express remorse, spent his time attacking opponents. The federal judge didn't want to hear it, telling him, "You are not a political prisoner, Mr. Rhodes." He then sentenced the Granbury resident to 18 years in prison for the charge of seditious conspiracy, a crime the judge called one of the most serious an American can commit.
I think that this case was all about the weaponization of speech by the Department of Justice.
Rhodes was accused of leading the plot to attack the U.S. Capitol in order to stop the certification of ballots in the 2020 election and keep President Donald Trump in power. But his attorneys argue the attack would have happened with or without Rhodes.
That he never went into the Capitol, he never assaulted anyone, he never destroyed any property. We argued all those matters during the trial and post-trial. And clearly, the words of Stuart Rhodes is what the judge returned to time and time again.
The judge, though, said he feared Rhodes presents an ongoing threat and peril to the country. And he posed the question, with another presidential election looming, will we have another January 6th? Rhodes is the first of the January 6th defendants to be sentenced on that charge of seditious conspiracy. Following today's hearing, he returned to jail, where he has been for months now throughout his trial and his sentencing. His attorneys say they do plan to appeal. Andrea Lucia, CBS News, Texas.
And now we move to first alert weather because parts of North Texas are seeing some severe storms yet again.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Padgett. We want to know what that means for us as we move into the holiday weekend. Scott, rain or shine, I just know I need a burnt hot dog. That's all I need.
And burnt marshmallows, too. I'm right there with you. I'd like burnt hot dogs as well. As you take a look at the first alert satellite radar combined, we're okay here in North Texas. A couple of spotty showers. We had some severe storms off towards the west-northwest coming out of parts of Oklahoma. They now have dropped below severe limits. And on the larger view, we still have some strong to severe storms off to the west-northwest. So we'll watch that as we go into the evening hours. The first alert futurecast showing maybe a complex of storms trying to ride its way down to the southeast, but I think it's going to stay well to the west of Abilene. So overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, you're not going to have any rumbles of thunder waking you up. You should be able to sleep pretty nice as we go into the weekend. And you can see that we're seeing 88 degrees on Friday, Saturday 88 degrees, a nice weekend ahead, but a chance of showers and storms on Memorial Day. Well, more on that coming up next on CBS News Texas.
DFW airport officials say that they have never seen crowds like what they are expecting this coming Memorial Day holiday weekend. They predict more than 1 million people in and out of the airport's terminals over the coming days. That would be the most ever for the Memorial Day holiday at the airport. And they say tomorrow, that's going to be the busiest day because of the expected crowds. They are reiterating their suggestion that if you happen to be traveling through or to or from, get there at least 2 hours before your flight. To help out, the airport is also rolling out some new helpful technology.
Starting this holiday weekend, you can now check real-time parking availability on our website as well. That is a game-changing feature for a lot of reasons. For you to be able to check the parking at your terminal that you're planning on flying out of in the morning and seeing that it might be really busy or full or nearing capacity, you can make a decision before you ever leave the house.
DFW expects a record-setting summer as well, with more than 22 million people traveling through the airport in the coming months. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Today is National Missing Children's Day. It's a day to really renew efforts to locate countless missing kids all across our country.
Starting today, a decades-old mystery is actually showing up on billboards all across North Texas.
Olivia Leach has a story of 3 Fort Worth families hoping to get some answers about their loved ones.
I've been looking for these girls my entire life.
It was Christmas time in 1974 when these 3 girls from Fort Worth, Mary Rachel Trelisa, Julie Mosley, and Lisa Renee Wilson, headed to Seminary South Mall.
They went Christmas shopping December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, and we've seen or heard nothing from them since then.
48 years later, their families still don't know what happened to them.
It's hard. Christmases are not the same. We put on smiles. We buy gifts for our grandkids, family members. But there's really a lot of heartache still.
But now, millions of people across the Metroplex will be reminded of their story thanks to a new billboard campaign from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Texas Center for the Missing, and Clear Channel Outdoor.
We hope that someone who knows something sees them and contacts police.
These digital billboards will feature a photo of each girl from the time they went missing and an age-progressed photo of how they'd look today.
This is just great news to have this out here.
They still have hope, especially after hearing the story of Melissa Highsmith, who was missing for 51 years and was reunited with her family in Fort Worth this past November.
They found that girl and brought her home safe to her family.
So next time you're driving down a North Texas highway, take a look at their faces. You may know something that could crack open this cold case.
I know there's somebody out there that knows what happened.
Olivia Leach, CBS News, Texas.
Time for First Alert weather. Bring the chief in here, Scott Paget. And I guess if we're asking for anything, it's a little bit of rain.
A little bit of rain, because we need it right in some areas, Scott.
We do need it. I know it's the holiday weekend. We don't want it to rain on our holiday weekend, but looking at the drought conditions, you can see that we have abnormally dry conditions to moderate drought showing back up in parts of the Metroplex, our southwest sides of North Texas, seeing some severe drought. So factor that in if you're heading to some of the area lakes, a lot of lakes below pool stage. So just keep that in mind if you're taking the boats out. Now, the First Alert 3-day forecast shows it's going to be kind of hot and humid the next couple of days. Friday into Saturday, 88 degrees. We have a return of some scattered storms on Sunday at a 30% chance. Your high temperature of about 85 degrees on Sunday. And the pollen count, a lot of us in the studio have been sneezing today. It's in that medium category, will remain there through the weekend. Now, the First Alert satellite and radar combined shows some spotty showers work their way out of parts of Oklahoma into parts of Cook County. We also had a stronger storm that was at severe limits at one point, making its way down towards the southwest, but really died out southwest of El Dorado. So we can see off towards the west-northwest a couple of storms in parts of New Mexico and Colorado. We'll see if they are able to come together in a complex of storms and work their way down to the southeast. But for your travel forecast for Friday, not a lot of problems across the state. Arkansas, Louisiana looking all right. We're going to be seeing temperatures upper 80s to the low 90s holding together. But then as we go into Saturday, chance of some stronger storms developing in the Panhandle down to the Midland, Odessa area if you're traveling out towards the west. Here in North Texas, not too bad. Now on Sunday, a bit more cloud cover, a better chance of some scattered showers and storms around, higher rain chances further to the west. And then on Memorial Day, just stay weather aware. Right now, the rain chances around 40%. Want to alert you to that fact. If that increases, we might need to issue an alert for Memorial Day. But right now, nothing like that in place. 82 degrees, our winds out of the east at 5 to 10, a bit muggy as you step on outside. We're at 80 degrees in Gainesville to 81 in Greenville to 81 also in Waxahachie. So into tonight, not too bad as you step on outside, baby, get that walk around the neighborhood. Looking ahead at the First Alert 7-day forecast through your holiday weekend, mid-80s, rain chances and storm chances at 40% Monday. By Tuesday, rain chances around 30%. Then we trade the rain for some warmer temperatures. By Thursday, we're up to 90 degrees.
Time now for CBS Sports Texas.
Here we go, guys. It's win or stay home. It's do or die. As you can see, fans are starting to arrive to watch the Stars take on Dallas. And look, a fan just came over, a Star fan came over, and he's like, are they going to win or are they going to lose? And I gave it a little pause. I gave it a meaningful answer and probably a little longer than he expected. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I just told Michael. Bottom line is the Stars have to do everything that it got them to this point. Everything that makes this team great, we have not seen in this series. And Tuesday was the most embarrassing, terrible game of the season when it counted most. But let's talk about that game, because bottom line is they have to make sure they don't repeat any of the same mistakes. You know, the only thing the Stars could do at this point is focus on tonight. So, Coach, I'd say your team is in a desperate position. Do you agree?
I think that desperation is almost an automatic, but it has to be controlled desperation, right? And a focused desperation. So the nice thing is we've been through an elimination game before and responded well, and I expect the same thing here tonight.
That's what you want to be able to do, is to play your best, when the season's on the line, and obviously this isn't the situation that we wanted to be in, but it's the reality now, and teams have came back from down 0-3 before, so why not us?
Why not us? Well, it has happened 4 times in NHL history, so why not the Stars? We're remaining optimistic. It's Stars taking on Vegas. We will have all your highlights tonight at 10. But look, there is a lot going on. We got to talk about the Cowboys, and for that, let's head out to the Star, and that's where we find Bill Jones. And Bill, it all starts tonight.
That's right. And, the Cowboys or the Stars are where the Cowboys wish they could be, playing for a conference championship. And today was our first opportunity to see the 2023 Cowboys on the practice field here at the Star in Frisco. Cowboys wrapping up their first week of OTA workouts, and among the most intriguing storylines revolves around Dak Prescott, who tied for the league lead in interceptions last year. Kellen Moore is gone. Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling with Brian Schottenheimer, the new offensive coordinator.
Obviously, there's some ads, some things taken out. I think you just get an overall feel of maybe the game's going to just be called a little different. It's not like we've done thrown away our playbook and tried to start over or anything like that. Obviously, we've had some success. So there is good there. So obviously, we had to take that and just really detail the hell out of just everything that we're doing. I think plays that we've already had, new plays in, just understanding the purpose, and just make sure everybody knows the why and what their purpose is in their play and in their role. So just detailing it all, I think, is going to make us play faster and be better.
Big week of golf here in the Metroplex. First round of the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial in Fort Worth. How's this for a home course advantage? Former TCU Horned Frog Tom Hoagie holes out for eagle from 154 yards on number 7. Tom Hoagie tied for third at 4 under 66. 4 shots behind rookie Harry Hall of England, who cards an 8 under 62 today. And first round of the Senior PGA Championship at brand new PGA Frisco. 63-year-old Dallas resident Corey Pavin with the shot of the day. A hole-in-one on the 183-yard 4th hole. 2-time Colonial champ, former U.S. Open champ Corey Pavin, 1 under 71. Padraig Harrington, an 8 under 64, and has a 2-stroke lead. And Doug and Nicole back at Colonial. Scotty Scheffler is at 3 under par. Jordan Spieth 2 over. And, of course, Michael Block, the club pro from California. It was a forgettable first round for him. He shoots an 81 today.
Yeah, watched a little bit of that today.
Yeah,
too bad.
Wasn't that great? Bill, thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Here's what's coming up tonight on CBS Texas. Brought to you by Standard Insurance. Proudly serving North Texas since 1954.
Quick recap if you missed the top of the newscast. Breaking news from the Texas Capitol late today. House committee unanimously approving recommendations of articles of impeachment to remove Attorney General Ken Paxton from office. Shortly before that vote, Mr. Paxton tweeted that overturning elections begins behind closed doors, he said. The House can now vote whether or not they want to impeach the Attorney General. That could happen as early as tomorrow. As such, reporter Jack Fink is going to be on the road to Austin for all of us and for you tomorrow.
And with that, we thank you for watching CBS News Texas. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.